pussy. Boom.
Okay, so I just watched The Painter, the final episode of Urban Spook's The Painter, and I have a lot of thoughts, none of which are structured or scripted, by the way, so sorry. So right away, I need to address the boom, and I need to address the big pussy boom in the room. What the fuck is that line? I'm now realizing that if you haven't watched the episode, you probably think I sound like a crazy person right now. Let me summarize real quick. So, I am obviously assuming that everybody watching this video is well familiar with who Urban Spook is and his analog horror series, The Painter, which is incredibly controversial. To summarize The Painter, basically, these two killers, Mona Lanius and Bill Skarsgård, they go around killing people in very, very, very brutal, horrific ways, including children, egast, until they are eventually apprehended and caught in the penultimate episode, which, by the way, has a genuinely awesome sequence, and in my opinion, in isolation, is actually a fantastic episode of analog horror. I mean, all the stuff with Unreal Engine, the cool scenes he set up, the custom models for Mona and Bill, I mean, it's a great segment. It's a shame that he doesn't use Unreal Engine for literally anything in this last episode, so that's cool. And listen, before I go really crazy and just get my thoughts out, because I really don't have much in the way of positive opinions, let me just say, I am a humongous fan of splatterpunk literature and films, okay? I love me some just horribly tasteless gore, okay? I mean, slasher films are easily my favorite subgenre of film ever. I'm not coming from a place of, I think Urban Spook's The Painter should be more like, Silent Hill 2, yes. For the record, I love Silent Hill 2, but I can also acknowledge what The Painter is at its core, and I'm coming at it from a fan of actually a huge fan of series like Terrifier, which The Painter is clearly inspired by to some extent. I mean, shit, I have this really, really awesome watercolor painting of Art the Clown that I got commissioned from, this artist right here. And in my professional slasher blood-loving opinion, I think The Painter really falls short as a whole series. But again, this is not a review of The Painter as a whole. That's for another time. Now that the series is done, by the way, that is coming. I will make a review of The Painter, eventually, as a whole series, giving my honest-to-God thoughts on every single episode, every plotline, every character, yada yada yada. But for right now, I need to rant and scream and vent about this last episode, okay? Because it's truly something. So, following up directly from the last episode, Mona has been caught and Bill has been shot and killed. There's a lot of courtroom drama, you know, Mona tries to sneak a bomb in, that gets a lot. We're gonna talk about that a bit later. And then, weirdly, there's these strange sequences where we get a look at this strange-looking, like, Aztec temple with these evil devil statues laid throughout. Interesting. I wonder if that could come up later. But finally, Mona is brought in to be interviewed by a detective, and this is the first time in the series where we get any real characterization from her. There's a couple times in earlier episodes where, like, she's stumbling around in the yard and shit, but I mean, this is like, you know, this is the first time she speaks directly to the viewer. And if I'm being perfectly honest, she's really annoying. I don't know, Mona sounds like a depressed valley girl to me, which is not at all the impression I got from earlier episodes. Now, if you're expecting there to be a motivation or a reason for the killings, you are gonna be sorely disappointed, which honestly I kind of expected. I assumed that it was going to be a literal, I just did it because I wanted to type of ending, which is fine, by the way, for a slasher story, actually. Those work pretty good. But no, like, it kind of is, but it's also a half committal. So you remember those devil statues I mentioned earlier? Well, Mona brings them up quite a lot through this interview. She mentions them having a machine underground, which causes some sort of sound that causes her distress, I guess, and how there's statues everywhere, and how the police are in on it, and how, in actuality, the police have been letting Bill and Mona get away with their crimes. and how there's a big conspiracy and everybody's involved in it. Which, in a way, I do kind of like. More so in the sense that, yes, Mona is just a crazy person who likes killing people. I do like that. I like that it didn't become a tragic I was being manipulated or I was being used. I mean, she was being manipulated and used, but she doesn't care. She would have wanted to have done those things anyways. It just so happens that somebody was benefiting from it. I think that's actually not a horrible plot direction. But then she talks about how when the sound starts, a red man takes over her body, and how this red man is the painter, and how the red man tells her who to kill and how to kill them. This kind of ruins the entire series for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I assumed in the self-portrait painting in the first episode, when Mona drew herself as a red figure, I assumed that was referencing how she saw herself as being internally evil, or internally devilish to some degree. Like, sort of a, yes, I know what I am, and I'm gonna keep doing this type of thing. Or even a sign of mental illness, that she sees herself as a devil, but isn't necessarily a literal demon, like the series is now directly confirming. Then we get to my favorite line. I'm pretty sure these are all out of order, just bear with me. We get to my favorite line in this entire episode. Big pussy boom. So remember how I mentioned earlier that Mona snuck a bomb into the courtroom? Yeah, well, actually, she can tell you.
No. You were denied a court hearing because you tried to smuggle a grenade through my pussy. Fuck yeah, I shoved a grenade up in there. Too bad the guards are even more perverted than I am. Would have gotten away with it. Wouldn't that be something? Big pussy.
Yeah, so she did that, and big pussy boom. I'm sorry, big pussy boom? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really funny line, but I'm gonna be honest, when I was watching this, I literally rolled my eyes at the line, big pussy boom. I literally rolled my fucking eyes, man. I mean, not only does it feel like, not even kinda try, it feels really try hard. But I mean, just, really? Big pussy boom? I mean, listen, man, I'm not one to judge, but come on, Mona feels like a fetish character. No? Like, am I wrong? You know how, I mean, maybe it's just me, but you know how if you've been on the internet for a long time, and in particular if you've been in a lot of art/writing circles, you can kind of tell when something is written with that in mind. Yeah, the painter has always kind of given me that itch, you know what I mean? That itch, why'd I phrase it like that? The painter has always kind of given me that vibe. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid and I don't get it. Possible, by the way, actually, likely. So, the episode ends with the reveal that Mona has died. She's been stabbed to death by another inmate. I almost said inmate. Inmate. Oh, and on the note of gross, potentially fetish material, Mona mentions stuff with dogs a lot. I don't want to, you can go watch the fucking episode, I don't want to say it. Basically, she recounts her time at an orphanage. You think it's going somewhere, it's really not. Oh yeah, Bill. It's revealed that Bill's always been this way. I was kind of under the impression that Bill had a darker urge to him, Mona seduced him, and then mutilated him, and they went and killed people together. But no, it turns out Bill's always been this way. Mona found him again, and then Bill instantly reverted to his old ways, with Mona saying directly that everything between them was consensual. Which, honestly, I actually don't mind. I think Bill being a fucked up guy, I mean, look at him. Yeah, I could have told you that. I always thought that Bill was the more interesting killer in my opinion. I mean, his design is scarier, his face is obscured, so there's an actual mystery there. And I don't know, the idea of this former police officer being so lustful for this random old crackhead that he goes around and commits some of the most unspeakable murders anyone can think of is, I don't know, it's fascinating. There's a motivation there, you know what I mean? It's a shallow motivation, but a motivation nevertheless. I just wish that things focused on Bill a bit more as the primary threat. See, I knew from his first appearance that he was a different guy. Sure, there's a potential that it was just Mona in a mask, but I just knew it was somebody else. I mean, call it a hunch or the very, very, very subtle foreshadowing of there being two killers. But I was always under the impression that Bill was the one doing the actual killing, and Mona was the one painting the murders. And I always thought that dynamic was actually kinda cool. Fun fact, by the way, I wrote a script for an episode in defense of Urban Spook. This is real, by the way. I wrote this many, many, many years ago, before the channel is what it is now, which is nothing, but you know what I mean. In general, I'm quite glad that I didn't make that video. Whoops, I dropped my thing. As well as a bunch of other videos I wrote, I feel like I would have gotten a reputation as a bit of a contrarian, which admittedly may be true at times, but they were not well-written videos. My primary point in the Urban Spook defense video is that I found the dynamic of Bill being the murderer and Mona kind of ordering him around interesting. Not insanely interesting, but interesting enough with some cool directions it could be taken. But yeah, no, they were just both doing it. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's kind of boring, but it's fine. After Mona's death, paintings begin appearing all over the nation, all painted in Mona's style with her signature on the back, as well as a bunch of people having gone missing, meaning the murders are continuing. The police urge people to stay inside with their doors locked. Then a heavy metal montage plays of all the paintings, which honestly, some of them look pretty cool. This one's my favorite. Like, don't get me wrong, Urban is a very talented artist, and his paintings are easily my favorite part of the series. And then finally, the montage ends on the self-portrait drawing from the first episode, except it reveals its hand to be like a, like a cool devil Satan hand, because it's, the red man is very clearly Satan, or the devil, or, something like that. Some hellish creature of some degree. And that is the painter. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this episode lets me down in quite a few ways. For one, I was kind of under the assumption that the whole point is that it was just these two people being fucking nutcases, and that was like the plot. But no, it falls into the same trope that literally every other analog horror falls into, where it's just the devil, or some vague supernatural evil force. Which is fine, I mean, it's not a bad trope, but they all do it. The only thing that made the painter stand out at all is that it was a straightforward murder slasher series. Well, I say straightforward, not exactly, but that's a topic for a greater video. But with this episode, it falls into the tropes of every other analog horror and just kind of blends in. I mean, don't get me wrong, people will always remember, the more controversial bits. And perhaps even more so, how Urban reacts to negative criticism. By the way, a little word from the wise. If you're gonna make art that's inherently controversial, try your best not to be a pussy about it and reply like this, okay? Just make what you want to make and own it. Don't take your anger out on people when they don't like the thing you made. It's just not for them, that's fine. Trust me, I've seen the fan art. The painter definitely has a dedicated audience. So, all in all, now that the series is complete, would I recommend The Painter?
No.
To be honest, I would recommend a single episode of The Painter. Specifically, the penultimate episode, which is like episode 7, I think. I don't know, I don't know how to count. I'm actually stupid. I'm actually a baby and I'm stupid. That episode is genuinely good, and the Unreal Engine body cam footage, which, again, I don't know why Urban didn't do more of for the finale, because it looks genuinely really good, and the sound design and voice acting is especially quite nice. But yeah, no, that episode, genuinely good. Good piece of analog horror. The only context you need is that these two freaks are murdering people. That's it. That's all you need to know. As for everything else, no. It largely doesn't go anywhere. The episodes drag on way too long. This one's like 20 minutes, and I'm gonna be honest, I only remember 5. But regardless, I'm still excited to see what Urban Spook does next, because he clearly has artistic talent. He just doesn't use it most of the time. Also, I hope he touches up on his writing a little bit, because his writing's not very good. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Okay, bye.